Welcome back. Great to see you. So much to talk about when it comes to patterns. It's a spectacular subject and so significant to us. I think one interesting pattern is the pattern of the movement of the celestial bodies. Don't you agree with that? There was something that I had never even heard of before, but a occlusion of Mars last night by the full moon. So, did you see the moon up by Mars? And then the full moon slid in front of Mars. Beautiful patterns up there, huh? The patterns of the heavenly bodies. Anyway, when it comes to patterns, I guess one great question might be, what about these patterns inside of us that are suboptimal, to put it politely, but the patterns that we don't like, and we probably can characterize them rather simply: anxiety, fear, worry, dread, seven deadly sins, yada yada. But one time when Paramahansa Yogananda, the great yogi who came to the United States in 1920, one of the probably two or three great yogis that really brought the East to the West, so to speak, he was traveling through the country in the 20s, and somebody asked him, why are these negative character defects of ours, why are they so difficult to break? And he pondered for a moment, and then he said, the enormous potency of habit, the enormous potency of habit. Because truly, of all the things in the world that are strong, elephants, tractors, cranes, is there anything stronger than our habits, especially the deeply embedded ones? When they get deeply embedded, they go so deep we don't even know that they're operating. Then they operate at the level of compulsion, obsession, addiction, and those suckers are hard to break, to say the least, the enormous potency of habit. Well, wouldn't it just be better if we could, at a moment's notice, at a whim, instantly change one of our patterns of perception? And this is where I'm going today, because think about it for a moment. What would happen if every time you decided that a particular perceptual pattern of yours was you didn't want it, you wanted to immediately exchange it for a brand new habit? Wow, what a glorious world we live in. Except, think of the world of children. They're always going from one thing to one pattern, another pattern, another pattern. A butterfly goes by. Whoa, look at that. Mommy, look at the butterfly. And then the doggy's the most interesting thing. And then Sally stepped on their toe and they're screaming and hysterical. The world of a 2-year-old, one tumultuous, turbulent pattern to the next. So that's an interesting world to live in, but it's not survivable. And to live in the world, we have to have deeper, agreed upon, societally accepted patterns. And so as we become adults, certain larger patterns take hold inside of us. So, you know what it does? It makes the world more survivable. It makes it more predictable. And there are certain advantages to it. And the advantage is a world we mostly agree upon. Some of the larger patterns, the world divides itself. What are some of the largest patterns? Politics. The world has kind of divided itself into two camps of patterns. And boy, once that polarity develops. But the enormous potency of habit, and how, having developed these patterns of perception, the good ones are great. Character, calm, peace, enthusiasm, innovation, acceptance, tolerance. These are the most beautiful patterns, because I believe, and you can think about it, but I believe these are the truthful patterns that they undergird all of us. They're aligned with the truth of being. But other patterns, anger, fear, worry, restlessness, are they're not of the truth. They cannot, after a while, differentiate the true from the false. So, the enormous potency of habit, and that's a good thing. If instantly you suddenly decided you wanted to change your worldview and you could, imagine how unstable life would be. So next time you're stuck in a hideous pattern, thank God for the enormous potency of habit. but then also recognize there's no such thing as a permanent pattern. They're always subject to change. And I really want to delve into the strongest motivating dynamic for changing a pattern. Well, there are a couple of them, but one of them is emotion. And oh, tomorrow's talk is going to be so good. You do not want to miss it. I hope you enjoyed today's talk, just this topic of the enormous potency of habit and how it's a good thing that patterns do get embedded, especially the good ones. But if you embedded a couple of bad habits, uh, be grateful that they don't change instantly because the world would be incalculably un or confusing place. So tomorrow we'll talk about the greatest means to change patterns we don't like. See you.